Greetings, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Today, I want to address a comment left in the video Kemet in my heart. It's a comment left by Marcus Love. That's the username right there. I'm going to highlight his right there. Okay. So he wrote, so I'm supposed to buy the story of Kemet and find fault in Christianity? They both have a mythology to them. Well, this is something that comes up every now and then. People are trying to compare Christianity and Kemet, or in other words, ancient Egypt. But there is a fundamental difference between those two entities. When we deal with Christianity, even though we are not dealing with one particular area, not necessarily, but probably it will be of nowadays Israel or Palestine or Canaan. All right. This is where Yeshua said to be born. So we have that area, that look in comparison with the location of ancient Egypt, and for both locations, a story. With the story of Christianity, we don't have only Jesus Christ. We have his apostle, his believers, and the people around it. When we're looking at this location and its history, with the location of ancient Egypt or its history, the fundamental difference is that for ancient Egypt, we have records for the people living there. It's okay to address the mythology of ancient Egypt, but the mythology of ancient Egypt should not overshadow the actual history, recorded history of ancient Egypt. The rulers, the inhabitants, the workers, we have records for them. When it comes to Christianity, just the main figure of Christianity alone, Jesus Christ, we don't have records for him. Now, I will show you something. I will show you something. Now, for those who don't know, our website is afrostudy.com, and you can add the English, or you can just go to afrostudy.com and you will have the link at the top left. See, when you go to the website, if you just type afrosty.com, that's where you find. That's the French version of the website. At the top left there, you click on English. There you have the English version of the website. And then here, it says Christianity, Jesus Christ, and the Bible. You have several quotes there. The majority of the quotes there are from Dr. Bart Ehrman, PhD, scholar of Christianity. Here are some of the quotes. This first quote there is about the Bible. We don't have the originals. The reality is that we don't have the originals. That's from the book misquoting Jesus. Not only we do not have the originals, we don't have the first copies of the originals. We don't even have copies of the originals, or copies of the copies of the copies of the originals. Here are copies made later, much later. In most instances, there are copies made many centuries later, and these copies all differ from one another in many thousands of places. There are more differences among our manuscripts than there are words in the New Testament. Now, regarding the Gospel, we are told in the book Did Jesus Exist by the same author, Dr. Buddy Ehrman, that they are not eyewitness accounts. And I'm reading what's in red. The Gospels of the New Testament are not eyewitnesses. Sorry, the Gospels of the New Testament are not eyewitness accounts of the life of Jesus. We do not have any eyewitness report of any kind about Jesus written in his own day. We'll go on. Regarding the Gospel, in the same book entitled Did Jesus Exist, we are told, we do not know who wrote the Gospels. Of the 27 books found in the New Testament, only 8 of them are to the authors to whom they are traditionally ascribed. Of the 27 books found in the New Testament, 8 of them almost certainly go back to the authors to whom they are traditionally ascribed. Jesus' own followers were lower-class Aramaic-speaking peasants from rural Galilee, who are almost the Gospels were written by highly educated Greek-speaking Christians who lived outside Palestine. They were not Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Now, regarding the earliest Christian author, in the same book, we are told that Paul is the earliest Christian author. Someone who is said to have been persecuting Christians who came way after the apostles, who came some years before the gospel, what that psalm was all about. And but anyway, I'm going to continue. Paul is our earliest available witness, writing within 20 death. Sorry, Paul is our earliest available witness, writing within 20 years of the traditional date of Jesus' death. 20 years after the death of Jesus. Now, when Paul was writing, there were no Gospels. They were written later. The Gospels were written after Paul. So the people who said to have been near Jesus, following him, their writing, the writings ascribed to the followers of Jesus were not even there when Paul wrote. Now, there's so many quotes there, but I was just saying for the record, as you can see here in the middle of the screen, in the same book entitled Did Jesus Exist, that the Dead Sea Scrolls, Jesus is not mentioned. Because people like to talk a lot about the Dead Sea Scrolls. Jesus, we have no witness records in the same book. So, that being said, when it comes to Kemet, we have the records. That's not the one I wanted. Now, Akhenaten, for example. Oh, I will have to update the videos. That's a shame. That's a shame. I'll have to update the videos. But anyway, when it comes to Kemet, we have records all over the world about their rulers, about priests, about workers. And I showed that. I showed that from the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. I showed that in the British Museum, London, England. I showed that in the Ashmolean Museum, Oxford, England. And I every now and then artifacts from other places where I've not gone myself, but I got the pictures either from books or from museums' websites. And when I get the chance, I've been planning for a long time to go to some other museums to be able to film these documents, these artifacts, these archaeological records. But there's only so much that I can do by myself. There's only I'm not sponsored, not part of any organization, and I could go on. There's only so much that I can do. So that's a fundamental difference. Those rulers that we talk about when it comes to ancient Egypt, um, it's been 11 minutes now. Ramesses II, we have records for him. Akhenaten, we have records for him. Amenhotep III, Akhenaten's father, we have records for him. Hatshepsut, the female ruler, the queen ruler, we have records for her. We have a whole temple. And plenty of records. You see? So I think that we can always make comparisons, but we should compare what is comparable. It's okay to talk about the mythology, but the key is that when it comes to Christianity, we don't have records from the time period. We don't have contemporaneous records. That's the key point. So, to go back to the question, I'm supposed to buy the story of conception of Kemet. Wow. It's up to you. When you find fault in Christianity, wow. I don't remember talking about fault in Christianity. And not even the story of conception in the video Kemet in my heart. But if you think that they are fault, if you're mentioning the fact of being fault in Christianity, it looks like a defense mechanism. It looks like deep inside you feel like something is not right. And it looks like it's and it's cool. I don't usually tell people what they should do. I might give advices, but I don't usually tell them you need to do that or you must do that. Everybody's the own master. Everybody's the master of his own destiny. But sometimes this path and direction is not taken alone. The environment counts. The society counts. The religious background where we come from counts. The personal situation, economical situation counts. Knowledge also. But your sentence there, about faults in Christianity and then saying they both have a mythology to them. In a way, even though you did not write that, it's as if to say that there are fault in both of them. But it's all good. When we go to things of Kemet or ancient Egypt, the question is, were those teachings good or bad? When we look at the society of ancient Egypt, of Kemet, the question is, was it a good society or a bad society? And amazingly, the thing that comes the most often when it's about criticizing ancient Egypt is the claim that the Hebrews, and this is not something factual historically. This is a theological claim. And amazingly, we have the story of the Hyksos, foreigners who came and invaded. They invaded and did many wrongs. But yet, years later, were to of the Hebrews. So you're making victims You're making culprits out of victims. You're declaring people to be guilty when they are the one who are victims. I think we should not make bold statements declaring things that are not accurate, especially when they are not documented. Now, Jesus, according to the story, is not a simple character. We're talking about someone who multiplied bread, fishes, turned water into wine, walked on water, resurrected a girl, resurrected a man, healed an ear after it was cut off, died when there was what we label as an eclipse. He died when there was an earthquake. He resurrected, appeared in front of people, went up in the sky in front of people. And you don't have any records from that time period. As if everybody was illiterate at the time. As if the Roman Empire didn't have the area on lock. As if the Roman Empire was not controlling the area. So nobody wrote about all those things. Isn't it strange? Isn't it strange? Anyway, I think I've went on for 15 minutes. That's 17 minutes. Thank you for your contribution. Everybody feel free to state your opinion. Everybody feel free to leave your comments. And if you have questions, ask them. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. Definitely how to back at you later.